should be a bloodbath. UCLA is getting 24.5 points going down to Baton Rouge. I remember the last time these teams played, UCLA beat LSU in the Rose Bowl with Ed Orgeron going through the tunnel saying, "Get that soft pussy color out of here." And then that soft pussy color beat them up pretty bad in the Rose Bowl. So that was hilarious. Yeah, that was hilarious. And by the way, UCLA might have the best uniforms in the sport. So that was a bad take from the beginning for Ed Orgeron. But how do you think this game plays out, Tyler?
Well, if we've been watching both these teams, they both look pretty bad. Let's just be real here. LSU has yet to play a full game at their potential. I would say LSU should be either 3-0 or 1-2. They kind of outplayed USC for most of that game, found a way to lose, and then kind of got outplayed by South Carolina for most of that game and found a way to win. So I guess 2-1's about right. I would say they should have beat USC, but then lost to South Carolina. But anyways, they're 2-1 on the season. I think this is where LSU plays their best game. This is where LSU finds their identity. Nuss has played really well, Nussmeier, and the Nuss bus. Ride the Nuss bus. I've been riding the Nuss bus all offseason. I thought this team had potential to be in Atlanta, believe it or not. Harold Perkins is in fact, he might be the second best SEC player behind Pierce at Tennessee in the SEC. UCLA, on the contrast, what just happened in the Rose Bowl? You had a bye week after an embarrassment at Hawaii. Okay, you played on the road to a Mountain West team and a Hawaii team that's weird. They almost beat Vandy last year. They've beaten Arizona at home in the past with Cole McDonald and Chavin Cordero both share. That was a weird game back in 2019. But you had a bye week. Indiana just they just had another game. I think they played, Western Illinois, who cared. You lose that game by 29 points at home in the Rose Bowl. Ethan Garbers played absolutely terrible. They got pushed around. Indiana looked like the much better team at every segment of the line of scrimmage, skill set. The Bay had a better coach. I mean, this is a mismatch, in my opinion. 24.5 points is a lot for LSU to lay, but I'm all over it. I think LSU finally shows out in their fourth game. They kind of have to, because if they don't, this could be a devastating season for Brian Kelly. But I'm going to ride the Nuss bus, and I'm going to take LSU, lay the 24.5. I think they win this one 45-10, something like that. They're just UCLA's that bad of a team, and I want to see LSU succeed.
Yeah, so I wasn't as high on LSU coming into this season because I didn't think they got their defense fixed, and the stats back that up. Like, they're still 87th in points against on defense, and they're still in the 110 to 120 range on passing yards allowed per attempt. So they're still really bad on defense. This is basically the same LSU team, just minus Jaden Daniels and the wide receivers, though the wide receivers they have now are still good. They have 4 guys over 100 yards receiving. So still very good on offense. I agree with you. I think they absolutely kicked the crap out of UCLA. UCLA is really bad, guys. Like, this is one of the teams I took the over-under on team total-wise, wins-wise. I think they were set at 5. I took the under. I was praying they lost to Hawaii. They should have. Ethan Garbers, just go watch his interception in the game versus Hawaii. It's one of the worst interceptions you'll ever see. And so far this year, he has 1 touchdown and 3 interceptions. So you'll see more interceptions in this game. Also, what is not good, he is their leading rusher at UCLA. You never want your quarterback to be your leading rusher, especially if he's not a dynamic athlete. And Ethan Garbers is not a dynamic athlete. He's not Lamar Jackson back there. So that's really bad. Yeah, they're bad, like tremendously bad. They're probably the worst or second worst team in the Big Ten. Like, that's how bad this team is. Yeah, it is. It is crazy. They've fallen off a cliff. And my only concern into this game would have been if LSU beat the crap out of South Carolina this week, I would probably take UCLA in this spot. But I think LSU comes out and is going to cover this because they want to show people, like, that was a fluke. This is who we really are, even though I think that's who they really are, playing South Carolina, because South Carolina, in my opinion, is a decent team. UCLA is dreadful. So we agree on this one, Tyler. I'm going to take LSU to cover this 24.5. It's a massive number. I'm going to hate if this is a backdoor cover at the end, but I'm going to take LSU 40 to 10. So we're pretty much in the same ballpark there. The over-under on this game is 56.5. So we would both be going under there as well. So we agree on this game completely, unlike the last game. So LSU rolls there, gets a little bit back on track. We'll jump into your comments and questions before we get into Arkansas and Auburn.
Yeah, which is crazy with UCLA. They had a top 20 defense last year and a really good rush offense. And those are the two things that they're struggling at. Deshaun Foster, who I loved him because he was a Carolina Panther, and he had a couple good runs for Carolina, but was always their second string back. But anyway, I mean, he's just done a horrible job thus far. So I like LSU big.
Yeah, it started off bad at the Big Ten press conferences and only gotten worse.
I feel bad.
Yeah, it's bad. I was shocked I don't know how much they paid for him, but the defensive tackle, I forget his name, Toya or something like that. Jay Toya, I think that's his name. Texas was heavy in on him, and he went back to UCLA. My God, brother, why? How much money did they offer you? Because this team's bad. And then keep Lamar out of your mouth, Texas man. Hey, I said nothing but positive things. I like Lamar Jackson. You have a Manning. You don't need Lamar. I never said I needed Lamar, but he was fun to watch, and he's a hell of a player. Yeah, I don't know what he's saying.
Tony.
Noah Long, this is not the same LSU defense. Noah, my God. Go to Team Rankings. Go to teamrankings.com. The stats are free. You can look them up. They are basically the same as they were last year. They have put a Band-Aid on a bullet hole. That's what this is. I like Blake Baker. I like Bo Davis. They will get this fixed. They're very good coaches. But it doesn't happen overnight. One, because the talent isn't as high as it used to be on LSU's defense. It's not. It's nowhere near. That defensive line isn't any good with the talent you have. The secondary is young. And then Harold Perkins is really the only guy that's like, wow, that guy can scare me on that side of the ball for them. So, listen, guys, they're not good on defense. I'm sorry is he an LSU fan? Yeah, he is. Okay. So I know where you're coming from, but they're not that good on defense. They probably won't be really good on defense for another 2 years. I don't even think they'll be really good next year. They'll be better, but they're not going to be really good for a couple.
I actually think they'll be better towards the end of the season. And this game they'll show out because they're playing a terrible offensive team who just can't get out of their own way.
If Ethan Garbers puts up like good stats versus you, that's all you're going to need to know, because that's going to be, I'm trying to think of their schedule, and he's probably the worst quarterback you'll face all year. He's really bad. I'm trying to think who else it could be at this point.
He might be actually.
Yeah. So if he puts up 9 point whatever yards per pass attempt that you're allowing to everyone else, you're in for a long season in the SEC. So let's see. Do you have an Arch Manning jersey? Absolutely not. I own one jersey, and is a Vince Young Rose Bowl jersey.
Tony's a troll, so
I know.
I love Tony. He's funny. He
is funny.
We're all in a group chat.
Fast on the keyboard.